So I want to give you a closer look on the trailer that I was telling you about that I got for $900. I took about $200 to get some insulation for the walls and the ceiling, but I wanted to get a trailer that had double-sided panels so that I can put insulation in between. It already did have some insulation in between there, but it was really a crappy job. But anyway, it left the potential for me to put in my own insulation and just really get that insulated. The concept basically, I could feel the side wall here that it's still pretty cool. In fact, it's not even warm at all, and I wanted to get it to that point. And outside, you can see it's really sunny, and I can put my hand on there, and it's pretty hot. I mean, it's not as hot as it could be. It gets pretty hot. Like I could barely keep my hand on there for more than a few seconds. It's pretty hot. But on the inside, like, I don't feel any warmth at all. It's 12 noon and it still has time to warm up a little bit, but I mean, that's what I was looking for, is trying to get that insulation to insulate it so well. I wasn't really able to do the floor as far as insulation because you can see I'm 6'2", and my head barely, clears the ceiling, so I wasn't able to put anything on the floor as far as insulation. But I was thinking of ideas to insulate the bottom of it underneath, and there are different methods of doing that. I was thinking of putting some spray foam down there, and I was thinking of some ideas of doing that on a budget, because there's some spray foam that you can get, that if you've seen YouTube videos on that, maybe I'll put that down in the link, but you could spray it on and it foams up, and they do that in houses, and that is becoming a lot more popular to do that because it seals up everything. It's a lot more expensive, and my square footage for the bottom isn't that much for some person that does houses for it to be worth doing my little space in my trailer. So if I was doing like a bigger shipping container or something, it'd be worth it. But so I was just thinking of ideas of how I could do it with just spray foam. And there's a guy, I watched a video, he did it with a modification, something that he put onto like a regular can spray foam thing. Maybe I'll try to find that video and put it in the link as well. But he's able to buy a can with spray foam in it, and so it's spread out like a 3 or 4 inches, rather than just a round, a round snake looking thing. So I was thinking of doing that, or a combination of the foam insulation that I was using for the whole trailer, just that foam core with the whatever you call it, the foil on each side to reflect, and then I use this bubble wrap for right up against the outer shell. So, and I could even feel heat coming from there, and this is the hole where the vent is going to go, and I could feel heat there, but I don't feel any right there. So it gives like 2 layers of protection, this layer and this layer. So, and I left a gap in between. On the walls I try to leave a gap right there in between where this bubble wrap was, because it gives a gap of insulation of air. If this is touching, it's not as effective for the insulation if this is touching the outer shell, because then the condensing, the heat condensing will just go through the insulation. So this needs to have a gap, like an air gap like this, so that it'll be effective in reflecting back that heat instead of just conducting the heat if it's touching, if that makes any sense. I'm going to try to post more videos that may help with that insulation idea, but I wanted to do it this way because that fiberglass stuff, if there's any leak anywhere, it'll be like a sponge and it'll just soak in everywhere, and it's harder to get dry because it's all sealed up in there. So I just didn't want to go in that direction. I wanted something just waterproof, and so that's what I did, and it adds to the waterproofing of the ceiling as well. So this is all my equipment that I'm going to be using. Basically it's just, you know, stuff for the batteries. I've got about 5 batteries I'm going to use. I've got a solar panel here to put on the roof on top, and then I'm going to put some bunk beds that fold down from the side like this, come down, and maybe put 2 on each side, because this will be a nice sleeping trailer, fit like at least 4 people. And I calculated the space, and I could probably put another couple cots here for more people, but and then I'll put in my kitchen, just a little kitchen, and then maybe a shower area, and then maybe put a water tank on top, and then just have like a direct connection into the water tank, and then have gravity pull down for the shower. So I wouldn't need a water pump or anything, and I wouldn't have to use a water pump to drain the battery usage and stuff like that. So those were some ideas I wanted to do. I wanted to have an interior shower so I could use it for the winter. I wouldn't have to go outside. So this was an idea I had, just to have gravity pull in the water and just have a valve that I open up and have it come in that way, and then insulate the water up above somehow. So it's just an idea. Some of these ideas are just, they may not work in the long run, but they're just concepts, because you have to anticipate, you know, water freezing, or, you know, things on top that I might need to put the solar panel up top, and it may not fit up there. So there's like all these factors I have to think about. There's also an issue of ventilation, and I have to figure out what I need to do about ventilation. And one of the ideas that I have on my channel is to have a fan, you know, one of those vent fans that just sucks up the air, and in one side of my trailer, on a shadow side, I was going to put a vent, so it'll pull in that cooler air. It'll just kind of suck it in and then suck out the hot air as it rises. So that was the concept I wanted to do, and basically it would give like a really cheap way of insulating this, since it's, you know, a cheap way of cooling it, sorry, since it's insulated so well. And I had one idea. If you see the wheel wells down there, this concept is in development, so I'm not sure if it'll work, but since those wheel wells are constantly in shadow no matter where you put the trailer, I was thinking of having vents that can open and close just on the side there. So that'll have access to a shadowy area at all times, no matter where I am parked in regards to the sun. So it'll always be in shadow, and I could do one on each side, and then I just open the vent whenever I need to use it. But I just open it up and then turn on the fan, and it'll be as if it's central air cool coming in. It's just a concept. I don't know if that'll work, but I'm trying to just think of new concepts that I could use with this. If anything, I might put, you know, a small window on each side of the trailer, so I have a way to vent air through this, because one of the problems is having moisture. Especially if there's too many people sleeping in this area, there's a problem with moisture building up, and I'm anticipating that type of thing. And so you have to think ahead about, you know, who's going to be sleeping in there, how many people are going to be sleeping in there, and how you're going to vent it. Because in a trailer like this, since it's so insulated, waterproof, and sealed, and these are metal walls, it's going to condense moisture. And so I'm trying, if I can vent it well enough, then that'll take care of that problem. But I don't want to put too many windows in here. I don't want a lot of windows and places for, you know, potential leakage and for temperature to fluctuate more because of that. Hopefully I'm making sense, but I just didn't want to put so many windows that then I lost my insulation ability and my ability to control the temperature like I want to. So basically this was a top or a back end of a step van, and someone thought it was going to be a good idea, you know, take this step van and cut off the front cab area and just put it on back of a camper trailer frame. So since that frame was part of a camper trailer, it already had the places for the propane tanks and the battery there. So it was already installed like that since it's on the frame. And then I wired some wires through the trailer so I could put in outlets and stuff like that. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put the battery bank, but this was a pretty cool trailer to work with. And the top there, you can see the top is just a dome top, and it is just one piece of sheet of metal, except for this part, this end here. So the whole sheet of metal goes all the way across until that little part, and then that's just one seam. And I thought, well, that's going to be the best for, you know, keeping that roof sealed, and I'm gonna be able to, I'm not going to worry about a lot of leaks and maintenance on top of that roof. So I just painted it with some really good paint. That's what I mostly invested in, but that and the insulation. So anyway, that's the trailer. That's a closer look at it. I was thinking of putting a door maybe on the side over here so I can have access over there. And then these double doors. It's not quite friendly for four-wheelers, but you know, I could always modify it later. But anyway, this general concept can be applied to pretty much any cargo trailer, and I've been putting off modifying just yet so I could make a good plan of it, of exactly what I want, because a lot of times I think I have a good idea and then later I'm like, no, I actually don't want that. So I'm just taking time to do it and looking at other people's videos, getting ideas. So anyways, check out my other videos about this trailer. I also have other videos about, you know, getting things on a budget. Pretty much everything in here I was able to get on a budget through I don't know, thrift stores and, you know, people that were posting up on Craigslist or KSL in Utah, where they have You know, I got this solar panel for a pretty good deal, and people just trying to get rid of stuff. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll get some more videos up for you guys.